Go. All right, guys, what's going on? We got a much better system here. When it says go, we actually know the live started. When we first do it and started doing the lives, it was like push a button, wait for the internet to respond. You don't know if you're live or not. We are. If you expected to see Monique, if you were excited to see Monique, I'm sorry. She's got open house tonight. She is an actual real teacher, which is amazing. I think she actually got a role as a team lead this year. She was very proud of that. And she's got open house tonight, so that's reasonable. So that's a little executive functioning snafu, I guess, on my part. I was probably moving too fast, as I'm prone to do. My friends and my people who work with me all know that moving fast is the name of the game for sure. But things get done. Things are getting done. Things are moving forward. We're going to have a kind of a pointed live tonight to really talk about environment. It was the conversation I was going to have with Monique. It would have been more interesting to ask her. She grew up in the city. I was her middle school teacher. We were going to talk about the environment that she grew up in, and then the environment that she's creating in her classroom. But we can do the same thing here. It's still my topic, and I'm happy to share with you guys. So I really want to think about what that means when I talk about the environment. It's there's a physical component to it for sure. If you can't find a place to sit comfortably, then that's really going to be a very difficult hill to climb. But it sets you up for success in so many other ways. What are the distractions that you have around you? What are the ways that you prepare your environment to counteract or decrease friction so that you can better navigate those challenges that come up with the work anyways, right? Like schoolwork or business work, or I mean, it's work and it's inherently challenging. And so if you then add environmental stressors onto that, again, physical or other people, environmental, really can have different impacts on you. So what does that mean? We want to really think about the no one size fits all principle that we often defer back to here too, and that's to say, there's not one design. I'm not necessarily an expert on design. I do know there are some principles about trying to simplify things for yourself. I think that's one of the fundamentals in feng shui. I'm not entirely sure about that, but the idea to be only keep what you need, and if you start to get cluttered, then nothing's gonna be able to keep up with that, right? So the goal is not that. The goal is instead to find some clarity and create the environment. Now, why am I talking about this? This is because executive functioning runs on your brain's ability to utilize this prefrontal cortex. Okay, you are, as a living animal, as a primate, it's a your amygdala is set to fire whenever there's anything that is potential threat, right? So you're always looking to suss out your environment. So if you're in an environment that does not feel um, comfortable to you, and instead your environment is stressing you out, then utilizing this prefrontal cortex is going to be really hard because all this is going on in the back. So what do we do to regulate that? Well, one, there is some tasks around organization. Two, there's ways to support the learner by making sure that the environment is approachable, by making sure that the environment has whatever resources, especially if there is adaptive technology. I'm really excited. Actually, this is an announcement of sorts. I have signed up for two conferences. Well, one I've paid a deposit on, the other one I've started the process. But one is an abilities conference in Orlando, and the other is the ND, the diversions, neurodivergence conference, or expo rather. Both of them are expos. I have to watch conference. Conference carries another weight, which is next in the development of my B2B strategy, is to figure out how to work with conferences and build my network and connect with other people and learn from them and share what I feel so excited and proud of doing. But that's different than what I'm saying right now. What I'm saying right now is that I have this wonderful opportunity to go to these expos and to see all the other cool things that are going on, all the other neuroadaptive things that are going on, and the things that are helping people. I mean, I set up a table at the adaptive climbing wall that I was talking to a parent the other day who was suggesting I check this thing out, that there are, paraplegic, quadriplegic kids who are somehow able to like get up these walls, and that to me is like such a quintessential feeling of like um, what it is that we want to be doing in our program and connecting with people. So um, yeah, I see a message. I want to make sure I'm not getting something wrong. Um, okay, no, we're good. So in the environment is also the others, the peers, and that is super super critical that we think about who are the peers that your child is surrounding himself. What are their interests? What are their goals? And do they align? And for some kids, especially if they're neurodivergent and they don't necessarily pick up on all the social cues, they might get caught up in situations with peers that are not helpful. Or there may be peers that are unkind and unsupportive. And we want our kids to navigate things that are difficult. It doesn't have to be always every day. So, we have to really think about the environment that we create for our kids, what schools we're sending them to, that make sure that they can really begin to actualize their potential. Now, what does it have to do with us? Again, we run a space where all these kids feel comfortable. They all come in and we share this space with them. We support them. We meet them where they're at. And office hours is one opportunity for that sort of practice. So we condense the playing field. Usually we're in a group of one teacher to five kids. In the office hours, it might be 1 to 2 or one to three. So those kids get more like targeted intervention, and those interventions are happening like directly on the things that they're coming with, the problems that they're coming with. I'm having a hard time getting started on this writing assignment. Great. Let's learn with that writing assignment you have to do. Let's learn how to chunk it down. Okay. So we're giving them an environment that is just giving them those cues to set them up to be able to make those decisions. It's a lot harder when they're by themselves. All right. So this is one of the things is that, while I'm not talking about it from like a social standpoint where they want to have a lot of friends. I'm talking about it from a practical standpoint of being able to actually navigate the real world and what's going on. That really requires some instruction, and those things need to be taught. So we're here for that. We're here to create that space for that learning to happen. And to really make sure that our environment is that space. Now, what does that mean? That means that sometimes our environment is a very interesting place. We deal with kids who at times struggle to fully navigate in the mainstream classroom, and yet they come into our space and they're one of several kids who struggle, and so we all are okay with it. We're all very like looking out for each other and supporting each other. That's the kind of peers that your kids want to have. That's when I say a space, an environment. Like online can be an environment, whether we want it or not. Like I don't have too many gray hairs yet, but I know I'm an older guy, almost getting to 50, and you know when we were younger, obviously there wasn't spaces that existed online. So in my mind, a space is where like out in the street where I would rollerblade, or at the park with the lights for playing tennis in the weekends. Like those are the spaces that I went to. But the world has changed, and is it for better? I don't know. I'm not here to judge, but it's changed, and we better be real about it. And so if you don't think that digital spaces are real, you know you're not really paying attention, honestly. Even if you don't want them to be, they are. And so with that in mind, when we operate this program in a digital space, that allows for them to learn in that space that they then need to exist in. Not that we don't want them also to learn in real life. I have a student right now who she makes, well, her first goal was to talk to five new people in the first 2 weeks, and she did it. And she said some of the conversations were hard and weird, but she talked to five new people, and that was she was so proud of herself because she's someone who's really is not striving for her goals because she's stuck in her own ability to come out of her shell. So her next goal is 5 a week and she makes these tchotchkes. She makes these, I don't know, she called them candy. There's like, they're like bracelets with beads and stuff, which is super cool. I mean, and she's so proud of it. And that's her next goal, is to give 5 of those things out to people and connect with the people. So we're going to meet the kids where they're at, and we're going to build them the steps to take to access the main environment. And they also need to understand that about themselves. So they can't just assume that they're going to interact with the environment in a neurotypical way. All right, because that's, I don't know. I had a kid today on a call who said to me, um, "I just want to I just want to be able to function like everyone else." She said that to me. Sorry, my nose itches. Um, I just want to be able to function like and be like everyone else. I just want to function and be like everyone else. And I was like, wait. Like, no, you don't be like everyone else. Like the who that you are is great. It's, let's use this who that I am to find what I want to do with it, right? And this is a kid who just graduated high school. She's looking for some support. This is the first actual situation where a student called me, and I guess it's because she's out of high school, so she understands that she's an adult. But I've spoken to a lot of parents, only parents, grandparents, caseworkers, lots of interesting people. But this was the first time where I said, "Hey, so what age?" When I picked up the call, "What age is your teen?" And she said, "Well, I am the teen." And it was such an awesome conversation. I mean, to see a kid advocating for themselves, she's already taken the first step in creating the environment that's going to get her where she needs to go. So yeah, I think I have probably rambled on just about enough tonight. I am trying to make the most of the opportunity to connect with you guys and to continue to develop this online community that we're building. But I also don't want to just keep saying the same thing over and over. So I'm going to say thank you for my loyal viewers. I really appreciate it. You guys keep coming out, and it means the world to me to have that sort of consistency and support. And I look forward to the next conversation where we can get together and really talk about some of the work that we're doing with kids. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.